change this right, or I have to think, 12, 13, 14 year or something. And my wife's part of the furniture in the session now.
Hi and welcome back to another Tech Minds video. So I recently downgraded my main HF transceiver from a 101MP to a DX10, purely because the DX10 is a smaller radio, yet still has a high quality and rated receiver. Now, one of the features the 101MP came with as standard was an RX out, which allowed me to have a 4-band panadapter on my computer, essentially replicating what the radio was receiving, but on my SDR software. Now, the DX10, however, doesn't have this feature, so I set out to research if the FTDX10 can be modified to provide an RX out. Now, the FTDX10 does actually have a rather good display as standard, and you can connect an external monitor. However, I do like the point-and-click approach to change frequencies really fast and having a view of the entire band you're listening to. What's also nice is that with the use of OmniRig in conjunction with SDR Uno, I'm able to change bands and frequency directly on SDR Uno. So during my research, I came across a blog post by IZ2ZQG, where they had performed this modification by inserting a PAT70 buffer board from SDR KITS. Luck would have it that I actually had a PAT70 board lying around that was supposed to be used in another project. Now, the PAT70 board itself is actually designed as an IF buffer, but as we're tapping into the full RX, we do not need to worry about the 70 MHz low-pass filter, although here in the UK, I can use 70 MHz, but I haven't tested that yet. So the first thing we need to do is remove the bottom cover, which will then expose another protection plate, which also needs to be removed. Now, the area of interest as to where we will install the PAT70 board is just here, and it only requires just 3 wires connecting to the main board. Now, these consist of a ground wire, an 8-volt tap, and of course the actual RX output from the main board. Now, here are the tap points shown in this photo. The wires connect to the tip of where the red arrow ends. So first off, I connect my output coax to the PAT70 board. This is the coax which would then go off to my SDR receiver. I then cut and tin 3 short pieces of wire. I then carefully soldered these to the tap points on the main board. You'll notice here that I have used a different ground point just to make things easier. Plus, I was a little worried the connection tag would short against some of the little surface mount components, but by mounting it here, it keeps it away from the other components. So here we can see the connections coming from the main board to the PAT70 board, and as you can see, the board will feel nice and snug in this location. Now, I'm using some capped-on tape to insulate the board to prevent any components touching each other. It also acts quite nicely to aid positioning the actual PAT70 board. Here you can see how I routed the coax cable out of the radio, just past the tuner socket on the rear. However, I do plan on installing a proper SMA socket, which will mean drilling a hole in the radio, but I think it will look good and probably work better. So time to test while it's still open.
20 metres, and at times when the short skipped to the GIJ, but news reader, like I used to be, GB2RS, and yeah, a lot of memories are gone, so sadly missed.
As you can see, it's working perfectly. I have no idea why Yaesu didn't add this feature as standard, as this board only costs around £12 UK. SDR kits do ship worldwide, so if you're interested, I'll leave a link to their website down below. So before assembling the lower panels, I wrap the PAT70 board in Kapton tape and make sure that it's nice and snug. I fit the inner lower plate and the radio bottom plate, and then we test again.
Yeah, well, I've had this challenge this week, I have to think, 12, 13, 14 year or something. And my wife's part of the furniture in the session now.
Now, to control your radio from SDR Uno, you can use OmniRig. Just make sure your FTDX10 is connected to your computer via the USB cable, and then a virtual COM port will become available. Now, I use the enhanced port for OmniRig. Now, once OmniRig is configured, you just need to tell SDR Uno to use OmniRig 1 for control. Of course, you can use any SDR and any SDR software you have available, as long as it has rig control and the SDR covers the same bands as the FTDX10. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I think it's a pretty cool little modification for the Yaesu FTDX10. Until the next video, take care, stay safe, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.